All right, we have the chapter notes for 2.3, solving multi-step equations. Not a whole lot to talk about here since we've been doing one-step and two-step equations. These will be 3 or 4 steps. It just depends on each scenario. The goal is to isolate the variable on one side of the equation. All right, we do this by using the properties of equality and the golden rule of algebra. Alright, so let's give this a try. Notice how there's two variables here. I have an s plus 4 plus 2s equals 67. The very first thing I want to do is combine like terms. So I have 1s and 2s, so I'm going to have 3 s's plus 4 equals 67. It's a plus. The next thing we want to do, now this looks like something we've done a lot of in class already, so we're going to take 4 away from both sides. And now I have 3s equals 67 minus 4 is 63. And now I can divide by 3. And we're left with s equals 21. For this problem, the first thing I want to do is clear these parentheses. And inside the parentheses, I have 2x minus 1. Since these are not like terms, I need to distribute my negative 8 first. So I'm going to distribute my negative 8 to the 2x and the negative 1. Well, negative 8 times 2 is negative 16x. And negative 8 times negative 1 is a positive 8. And that's all equal to 36. Now I want to subtract 8 from both sides. And I get negative 16x equals 28. And now I want to divide by negative 16. I'm left with x equals negative 28 over 16. Well, since 28 and 16 are both positive, then I know that they will reduce by at least 2. But I also know that 4 goes into both. So 4 goes into 28 7 times. So I get negative 7 over, and 4 goes into 16 4 times. So I end up with negative 7/4. Now this problem, I see I have a fraction here. And whenever I have a fraction involved, the beautiful thing about the equal sign is that the golden rule of algebra states, what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Well, I can choose, I'm going to ignore this 3 here. I can choose to multiply both sides by the lowest common denominator. And the lowest common denominator of 4 and 3 is 12. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 12 first, just so I can clear those fractions. Now 12 times 3x over 4 is nice because the 12 and the 4 reduce, and I'm left with 3 times 3x. And the 12 and the 3 reduce, so I'm left with negative 4x. And 12 times 10 we know to be 120. And now I need to perform multiplication. So 3 times 3 gives me 9x, and minus 4x equals 120. And 9 minus 4 leaves me with 5 x's on the left-hand side and 120 on the right-hand side. And I could divide by 5. Divide both sides by 5. And now x equals, I don't need that dot there, x equals 24. Now this problem, dealing with decimals, there's one way we can clear out all these decimals before we do anything else. And here I have 3.5, so I have something in the tenths place. I have negative 0.02. Now that puts it in the hundredths place, and it's all equal to 1.24, which I have something in the hundredths place. So I want to multiply both sides by 100. Since I have a hundredths place, I want to multiply both sides by 100 to clear out all the decimals and make this problem a little bit easier to see here. Well, 100 times 3.5, I get to move my decimal place 2 units to the right, so I'll end up with 350. Now let's make sure we separate these two problems here. And 100 times negative 0.02, I'm again moving my decimal place 2 units to the right, I end up with a negative 2x. And with the same story for the right-hand side, 1.24 times 100 is going to give me 124. Now, again, with the big goal is isolating the variable here, I want to remove the 350 first because it's just a number, and that's going to associate with the right-hand side. So I get negative 350 or minus 350, excuse me, from both sides. Oy. And I'm left with negative 2x on the right or on the left-hand side. Sorry, Mr. Thornburg's in here, and he's making me all nervous. And 124 minus 350 is what, Mr. Thornburg?
Minus 350?
Yes.
Negative number.
It is. You're right. It is negative. Very good. At least this was negative 226. I would divide both sides by negative 2. Divide both sides by negative 2. And we cancel that out there, so I'm left with x equals, and a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 226 divided by 2, well, 2 divided by 2 is 1, 1, and 3, so it's going to be 113.